Hey guys, this is OddMe, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to beat the perfect run from Super Mario Galaxy 2 on your first attempt. This is known to be one of the hardest levels in the 3D Mario games, but every section has techniques to make them 100% consistent for beginner and advanced players. I'll be going over both ways of doing this star, beginner and advanced, so feel free to jump around the video using the timestamps in the description to get a feel for what works best for you. So let's just jump in here. Now, please note that this is being done and explained as Luigi, since he's the character used most often in this stage in speedruns. I cannot guarantee that these strats work as Mario, so be cautious if you plan on using him. So when you start the perfect run for the first time, you'll have to watch this intro cutscene of the Hammer Bros, and then watch Luigi fly into the level. And as you'll see, you'll immediately notice upon playing that this will mess up the cycles of the flying enemies. So what you want to do is, as soon as the level begins, you just want to run off the edge and just die. And you might be thinking this is completely useless. However, it's not. Because of this intentional death, you can actually grab the flowers with Yoshi more easily, and the cycles will be fixed for these enemies, and you can just breeze your way through this level. So essentially just grab the same flowers that I do, and make sure to notice that sometimes, as you can see right there, you want to do small flutters in between some of the flowers so that Yoshi gets some extra distance. Otherwise, you won't be able to grab it right there, like I just did. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You'll be able to dodge the enemies as long as you do that intentional death. And if you die unintentionally, well, it just makes this section easier for you. Now, the Flipswitch planet is probably the most straightforward of all of them. All I have to do is just follow my route here and just walk a circle around all of them. And for these panels on the inside of the planet, just do little jumps to cross the small gaps. So once you make the circle, you just go in the center and then spawn the launch star, and you can just walk straight forward without the lasers interrupting you. Now, the cloud planet is when it begins to get a bit more complicated. So once you land, just touch the cloud flower and you'll immediately dismount Yoshi. And instead of taking the upper path like the game wants you to, you want to take this lower path down here, as this is just a little shortcut that saves some time, and it also gives you a bit more of a straight path to start out to this next cloud flower. So you just want to improvise your movement a little bit, but not too much, so you don't mess up, obviously. And you want to just mix backflips with long jumps a whole lot, so you can cross these lasers perfectly and grab your next cloud flowers. Right there I did a single jump just so I don't get too much height. Yeah, that was an accidental long jump right there. But yeah, as long as you just know how to dodge the lasers, you'll be fine. And you want to make sure to enter that launch star with at least one cloud. 2 is perfect, but if you have 1, that's fine as well. And now, for the Flip Swap planet, the beginner strat for this is actually very easy, since you can just completely cheese these lasers. So once you get to this first Flip Swap panel, here's what you do. You backflip, and then you backflip, again, and again, and again. And if you just keep chaining backflips, the lasers will never spawn, because since you have so much height, they just don't detect that you're there, I guess, and they just never spawn. So once you get to this section right here, towards the end, you want to make sure to backflip off to the side and then spawn your next cloud, because it's very crucial for the end of this level to have 0 clouds for the Hammer Bros section, as it makes it a whole lot easier. So spawn this cloud and then just long jump to the end, and that's how you cheese the Flip Swap lasers. Makes it very easy. And the Pole Star planet is also very simple once you know how to cheese it. To start off, if you have 1 cloud, you can long jump here and then just shake to spawn your cloud, which dodges the laser. But if you don't have 1 cloud, don't worry. You can just long jump twice off to the left and you'll be fine. You can dodge the laser just fine. So these first 2 pole stars here, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. I just picked the later one because it's faster by a little bit. And this is where pole star momentum comes into play. So if you don't know how this works, once you grab the pole star right here, let Luigi just center around it in the middle, and then press Z or shake your Wii remote to drop down. And this will allow you to just completely skip all the lasers and Goombas flying around, And then once you get close to the bottom here, you want to grab your next pole star with either A or B. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. And then once you get close to the pole star, you want to let go of whichever button you used, and it will fling Luigi to the top of the level, and you can just repeat this process to skip everything in this section, as you can see here. It's very, very useful, as you don't have to deal with the lasers or the Goombas at all. And here comes the final planet with the Hammer Bros. This is the one that players consider the most difficult and struggle with at first because they don't really know how the cycles work. They think they're random sometimes, and they just really don't know how to deal with it. So this is the most consistent and safe method that I did for a long time, and I've never failed it. So you just want to start off by... Actually, let's go back because I didn't really explain this. These two Hammer Bros aren't really going to be a problem. They don't really have any chance of hurting you. You can just long jump past them. And then make sure to hold Z once you get through the Sling Star, so you can just chain your long jumps together immediately. And then just do 2 long jumps here, another one, and get to this second purple platform. And once you get here, you want to... Hold on. Sorry about that. Once you get to the second purple platform, you want to long jump to the left to get to this next one. And this will allow you to skip all the Hammer Bros that are in your way, except for the one right in front of you and the one after him. And then you want to walk around this torch and long jump and then shake to get to this guy. And then make sure to kill this one, because this is one of the more dangerous Hammer Bros that you have to deal with. So kill him, and then wait for this guy to jump. And then you should be able to just spin into him, and your Boomerang Bros will be wide open for you to kill. Now, there are 2 ways of doing this that are both pretty simple. You can do the jumps like I do here, which dodges the boomerangs pretty well. Or if you want to be 100% safe, you can do the crouch method, which just lets you walk under the boomerangs and kills them in the easiest way possible. And once you kill this last guy, just dodge the boomerangs, jump in the launch star, and that's it. That's the easiest way to beat the hardest star in the game on your first try. I hope this helps any new players or speedrunners struggling with this star in their runs. Yeah, thanks for watching. Alright, so now I'm going to go over the advanced method for the perfect run. I would only recommend watching this part of the video if you already have a decent understanding of this game's mechanics, which includes infinite flutters and cloud canceling, because I will not be explaining those at all. I'm assuming that you already know how to do this kind of stuff, especially infinite flutters, since that's literally what we start with. So, since we're doing an infinite flutter to start the level, you don't really have to worry about this intro cutscene ruining your cycles, so I'm just going to skip it. The cycles at the start are a little bit different with the flying enemies, but not too much at all. You don't really have to worry. So to start, you just get Yoshi, and then you do a couple flutters to these flowers, get to this small planet here, and then you want to flutter and drop to the bottom of the level so you're just underneath these spike balls here, and you're like right above the death plane. Now, because of this flutter, you'll be able to skip like half of this section, but it's a bit risky because if you drop one flutter, you're pretty much guaranteed to die since, as I said, you're right above the death plane. So just keep fluttering until you get in between this bill cannon and this spike ball, and as you can see, there's a flower up there. So you want to do a bit higher on your flutters to gain more height, and you'll be able to grab this flower, and then you can just breeze through the level like normally. Now, the Flipswitch planet is pretty much the same as the beginner method, but there are some minor optimizations you can do here. In the beginner method, I explained that you could just jump over these gaps, but if you're an advanced player, you can just walk over them, which is a bit risky because there are tiny little cracks that you can fall through, but it's not too bad. But other than that, it's pretty much the exact same. You just walk in a circle, no changes to the route. There is a faster way to get to the launch star, though, where you just shake, do a back flutter, and then hop off Yoshi. That's a little bit faster. The Cloud Planet is a lot faster if you know how to do cloud cancels, since you can chain backflips and long jumps a lot faster. So I would just say copy the movement that I do here. It doesn't really need much of an explanation if you know what you're doing. But I will say that if you mess up like a little bit, it is pretty hard to improvise if you're doing cloud cancels, because they are a bit risky since there are lasers surrounding you, and if you accidentally ground pound, you're pretty much dead. So be cautious with your cloud cancels. Now, the flip swap planet is probably the section that changes the most from its beginner counterpart. So instead of doing backflips in this movement, you want to make sure you are constantly moving to get through the lasers. If you hesitate at all while doing this, you will most likely die, since this relies on basically being perfect in general with your movement and the cycles of these lasers. So you start by doing 2 long jumps, just like normal, to get here. And then you do a single jump here, and do 2 jumps to get on these, and then long jump to dodge that laser. And then here, you can either do a single jump or a long jump to get to this next panel, doesn't really matter. So you land here, and then you do a long jump, and then chain 2 more long jumps here. And then you long jump off to the side, use your cloud, and there you can also spin and use a cloud if you want to get rid of it early. It doesn't really matter. But just for consistency's sake, I'm going to keep it the same. The Polestar planet is pretty similar as well, except we're going to use Polestar momentum in a much faster way. So as you can see, instead of stopping, I just completely drop as soon as I grab the next Polestar, like that. This is a lot faster, but a little bit riskier if you're not quick with your Polestar grabs, but it's not too bad. So the Hammer Bro section also changes a lot if you're doing the advanced method, except for this part. You can just dodge these guys. So instead of going to the left, you want to go straight forward the whole time. Just keep chaining your long jumps and dodge this Hammer Bro. You don't want to kill any of them except for the last one, since he's like the only one that can really kill you. So kill that guy, and then the thing that's good about this strat is if you don't mess up and you kill that Hammer Bro, the Boomerang Bros are lined up perfectly for you. Like, their cycles are perfect. So if you spin into this guy and then just jump, you're pretty much good. You just wait for the boomerangs to pass, and then you can ground pound him and then walk into that guy, and you're finished. And there you go. If you combine all these strats together, you should be able to save over 30 seconds over the beginner strats, which is quite a lot for the last star in the game. So make sure to practice this a lot, as it can get pretty nerve-wracking pulling all this stuff out at the end of a 9 to 10 hour run. I should know. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps.